What's going on, guys? Vegas here, and today the Chargers have finally fired Coach Brandon Staley and the General Manager Tom Telesco today after their embarrassing loss against the Raiders, 63-21. It was very bad. I was watching the game last night, and you cannot tell me that, like, watching that game, that the Chargers need to reset. That everybody in that building needed to get fired. I'm surprised they didn't make this announcement at halftime that Brandon Staley wasn't fired after being down 42-0. But hey, he got fired. It is what it is. And we knew going into the season that he was going to get fired. Just because of how disappointing the season has been for the Chargers. But it turns out that they fired him mid-season after this embarrassing loss. So right now we're going to react to the Pat McAfee show, reacting to the news that Brandon Staley and the general manager have been fired.
The potential situation, it is now official. Brandon Staley has been fired as the Los Angeles Chargers head coach. There was a lot of historic records that were broken last night. The most
records have been broken with him being as head coach. I'm surprised he didn't get fired from last year after him blowing a 27-0 lead in the playoffs last year. But holy, that was bad.
amount of points in the Raiders franchise history. Obviously, one of the biggest blowouts in the first half a game has ever been seen in the NFL. And now, after years of this conversation taking place, after close loss after close loss after close loss,
years,
after really not getting
it's been
any better,
years.
seemingly
We've been
wasting
waiting for this
Justin
man to
Herbert's
leave.
entire existence as this former quarterback who's a defensive coordinator, who was an NCAA D3 coach just about 5 years before he got his head coaching job. People have been wondering when he was going to get fired. Ownership, though, maybe doesn't want to have to pay fired coach and do the whole song and dance. They decide today he is fired. Also fired from the Los Angeles Chargers, we are learning.
No way.
General manager, friend of the program.
Oh my goodness. I was looking at Twitter and Chargers fans are just praising. They are praising what's going on right now. They wanted both Brandon Staley and the general manager gone. And it's crazy to me how people look at this Chargers team and they're like, oh my goodness, look at this Chargers team. So much potential, so much talent. And you've been looking at this team, they haven't done nothing. So what talent are they looking at on this Chargers roster for them to keep saying, oh my goodness, this Chargers team, they should be blowing teams out. They're just so talented. They're like the Golden State Warriors with all this talent left and right. And I'm like, when are y'all going to realize that this Chargers team's talent has nowhere to be found ever, since Brandon Staley has ever took the coaching job for this team? I haven't seen any sort of like sign from any wide receiver besides Keenan Allen and Khalil Mack. They're always injured. I haven't seen Austin Eckler have a game-changing running back season, even though he's constantly complaining that running backs are not getting paid enough, but he's playing like straight trash. So this talent that this Chargers team has, I don't know where they keep saying this.
Tom Telesco is what I am being told as well here. So GM and head coach out after what happened last night to a division rival on prime time. And GM.
There's only one reason why.
There's 3 weeks left. There's 3 weeks left for them. They got interim GM and interim head coach. All eyes are on the future. All eyes are on next season, hopefully with Justin Herbert with another coach, another offensive coordinator. Because remember, Kellen Moore came in this year. He was supposed to be the answer. Remember, whenever he was down at Dallas, he was the guy.
I don't know if they'll get rid of Kellen Moore. He hasn't been spectacular this season, but I would be surprised if he's gone just after one season.
He led Dak to everything. Then Mike McCarthy takes over Kellen and says, I know what Kellen wants to do. Kellen wants to run up the scoreboard because Kellen wants to be a head coach someday. I used to be in Kellen's spot. And if you think about where Dallas is right now with Mike McCarthy calling plays,
pretty good spot.
and where the Chargers are right now with Kellen Moore calling plays, I think Kellen Moore wishes that he was potentially in a different place. Will he be the interim head coach? Now all eyes are on who's next and what do they do. This opens up for, though.
Big time.
Yep, it does, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it does.
Coach,
Admit.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, this was kind of the situation I've been staring down for the past 3 weeks. Once the Chargers...
Oh, my God, they better not say Bill. They better not say Bill Belichick. I swear, if the Chargers hire Bill Belichick... Now, people want to say, look at Bill's track record. He's a Super Bowl winning coach. My goodness, I do not care about Bill's Super Bowl winning appearance. His track record when it comes to evaluating talent and his track record for just bad coaches around the league, bad offensive play from around the league, it's not what it's supposed to be. And I think the Chargers need an offensive-minded head coach. I need them to at least be a team that has an identity offensively. And I don't think Bill Belichick is that guy.
Just beat the Patriots 6-0 in New England. It was like, oh, okay, so Staley's probably got a week or two left, and then this will get really ugly, and here we are.
They're about to say
I still, we'll stand by. We'll figure that out later. But when you mentioned all those teams, like the Colts ran into the Steelers and Patriots and the Ravens sometimes, I bet, like the Raiders weren't rolling. They just got shut out. And then
worst in franchise history. Antonio Pearson, speech after the game, actually said, Tay, what'd you say last week? We're on the wrong side of history. This week we're on the right side of history. Most points in franchise history. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was not good.
No.
Less than a week ago.
And both teams were 5-8. It was like clearly one team saying, hey, we are not mathematically eliminated. We can still win out and have a chance. And then the other team saying, kind of like a la Anthony Lynn when he was with the Chargers before Brandon Staley, saying, hey, boys, we don't have a chance to make it in the playoffs anymore, even though they did at that time, the year before they hired Brandon Staley.
What a shit show.
After 1 year, that's crazy. After 1 year of just being a defensive coordinator, they just thought Brandon Staley was that guy. Like, he hasn't been a head coach anywhere. He's very unexperienced when it comes to the head coaching job, and you're telling me after one season, just with one team, people called him the defensive-minded guru? Like, where are we jumping to these conclusions from?
Right?
Oh, yeah. Dump of a building.
Legit.
Yes.
Like, their fans are very passionate and everything like that. Mm-hmm. They've had to deal with a city change.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You just go back to that whole thing. Playing in an MLS stadium, then going into the Rams stadium, then the Rams win a Super Bowl in LA, and then now you got the face in Justin Herbert. Everybody says it. Everybody thinks it. Everybody knows that to be the case. And you're just kind of, I guess, fumbling it out of even relevance. It is a fascinating dynamic over there, because even if you have, and we don't know how much money the Spanos family has, it's been that's a whole nother added thing into this entire conversation. But it's like, even if you have, and we're seeing this with Carolina, it's hard. It is really hard to win.
Yeah, you need a lot of players.
So if you can find somebody that's won before.
You need a winning coach. You need a winning GM. You need a winning culture that this Chargers team has never had. Like, you had Tom Telesco with that team for I don't know how long, for over 10 years, and there's a repeated cycle for this Chargers team when it comes to just having disappointment every single time. Like, so this is why I'm happy that the Chargers are getting rid of Tom Telesco, because he hasn't really done anything under his entire tenure with being with the Chargers.
Like, normally that's why it's a safe decision to make. Bill Belichick.
They have
Stop it.
Could you fathom? Now, people are going to say that that's us saying that he's out of. We don't know that.
Don't know that.
We have no idea.
They got a roster.
Bill and Bob Kraft are going to talk.
You need an offensive-minded head coach, either Ben Johnson or a coach that has a winning track record like Jim Harbaugh. And you don't have to you don't have to get rid of any draft picks just to get rid of Bill Belichick. Jim Harbaugh will be the right there for the taking for the Chargers.
Okay, they'll decide what happens. Bill could get an extension for 5 years. We have no idea what's going to take place up there. We are only telling you what everything is being reported and talked about. Yes. We are just as surprised as everybody else that Bill Belichick could potentially no longer be with the Patriots. But that's a reality, allegedly, from all people talking around the situation.
It's not happening.
You got Herbert, obviously. So, and with Belichick, you would think you'd be able to find an offensive coordinator. You would hope that would be the case.
Yeah, I mean, probably Josh McDaniels.
Oh my God!
He loves to bring back his former.
Please.
He does keep it in-house mostly, but Josh McDaniels has not had a lot of success. Billy O this year did not have a lot of success. But is that because of the quarterbacks, because of the groceries that he had, or because he doesn't have it anymore?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a grocery situation there, and they got groceries in LA.
Look at the track record with all of these Patriots head coaching staffs under Bill Belichick, they have not had success anywhere, and now you're trying to have success by firing your GM and your head coach, and you're gonna hire people who have a track record for not winning.
Think that Bill Belichick with a player like Derwin James would make that defense, and Derwin James specifically, probably like defensive player of the year, just because of how
Derwin James has been trash. What are you talking about?
On the ball and in the back end.
We don't know.
We are not acting like we're knowing.
No,
we don't envy
not.
the position that Bob Kraft.
Yeah, I do not. Bingo.
Yeah.
Right.
We do not envy Bob Kraft's position at all.
But if it were to happen, the Chargers you need to sell out completely to go get Belichick. Like it's been the same way since they got Herbert. It's like you're relying on this guy to basically score 45 points a game. You need him to overcome everything else that's going on. I mean, ultimately, wasting Herbert's potential and stuff like that. But that's why Staley got fired, is he's a defensive guru, and the defense hasn't been worth a shit since he got there, pretty much.
Can we look at the offense too? Can we stop? The defense is one thing. The defense has been trash. Can we look at the offense as well, and it not being consistent enough? Can we start with that? Can we start with what this NFL is, and it is an offensive-driven league? Can I get Justin Herbert with an offensive-minded head coach and an offensive culture around this Chargers that has a track record for winning, which Jim Harbaugh has a track record for winning? Can we start with that?
You bring in a guy,
not Bill Belichick.
I like Bill, who can revamp that defense. You would think almost overnight. Like they need enough of this splash stuff. Like, hey, we want a young guy who can unlock more of Herbert's potential. Like, don't need to do that. Herbert's proven. Like, he's a dude. He's a guy. Like, he's gonna be fine no matter what. You need a guy who knows how to win, and you need someone who can kind of maybe break this like Chargers curse, where it doesn't matter who they have, they just can't seem to get over that hump. If Belichick is to get fired,
which we do not know,
or mutually parts ways, or whatever happens, the Chargers give him $100 million.
So we don't.
If we're going winning, give me Jim.
I don't know if they have the amount of money, but we can get a glimpse of what the future looks like from the Spanos family. They've released a statement. I want to thank Tom and Brandon for their hard work, dedication, and professionalism, and wish both them and their great families nothing but the best, said owner and chairman of the board, Dean Spanos. These decisions are never easy, nor are they something I take lightly, especially when you consider the number of people they impact. We are clearly not where we expect to be, however, and we need new vision. We are clearly not where we expect to be, however, and we need new vision. All right. I thought I was doing nothing in the name of continuity was not a risk
Get rid of Spanos, too. I don't know. Get rid of him as well.
I was willing to take. Our fans have stood strong through so many ups and downs in close games. They deserve more. Frankly, they've earned more. Building and maintaining a championship caliber program remains our ultimate goal, and reimagining how we achieve that goal begins today. And that's from Dean Spanos. I like that he quoted himself in the middle of his quote that he released himself.
My God.
Pretty good.
That's really good.
Yep.
They're not getting Bill, I'll tell you that much. If that is how the owner
we don't know.
Bill Belichick.
We do not know what we just saw. And maybe I didn't read it right, because people speak different. His flow could have been much different.
We read it right.
There's a couple sentences there that obviously we don't fully understand. But I like what he's thinking. He's saying, hey, listen, that is from the Chargers. Okay. From the Chargers. Okay. Just release the quote there. You don't have to put in the middle of it that he said it.
Ain't going there.
We get it, And the Chargers social team is very good. Hopefully they don't get
canned,
Let's make sure we keep the social team and the digital team over there at the Chargers. They are very talented. Maybe put them.
Move them up.
Maybe have the social team run the entire damn program over there.
Can we
stop talking about reimagining the vision with a successful, that whole thing? That's good news. That means they're going to invest.
The social media team,
earning it and deserving it. I think it's the right angle too. What's the angle normally? One is to let them know that they hear their
winning culture. People, can we get a winning culture?
They see them and they're hoping for the same, but everything will be about the actions they take from this point forward. Because last night was a great indicator of where that locker room and culture is, and it's in the dumps.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're a Chargers fan, you should be bummed out about it, like Kirk Herbstreit said he was late in the fourth quarter.
Bummed out about last night or today?
Bummed out. Every Chargers fan should be celebrating. They should be happy what happened last night. You got to see the last game that Brandon Staley was ever going to coach. You saw the last game Tom Telesco was ever going to be the GM for the Chargers right there. You were watching every touchdown the Raiders were doing that game was putting a smile on a loyal Chargers face, because they knew what this Chargers team was, and they knew what they've been going through the entire time under Brandon Staley and under Tom Telesco. So every time the Raiders scored a touchdown, they knew that Brandon Staley and Tom Telesco were out, because it just exposed what this team really was. And Justin Herbert being hurt just made it even more better for this Chargers team, and for Dean Spanos to finally make the decision, get rid of the head coach and the GM, because they finally exposed what this Chargers team was without Justin Herbert, and it's so trash. So if you're down 7-63, like, you need an overhaul, like a complete reset, and it starts up top. So if I was a huge Chargers fan, I would be ecstatic of what just happened last night.
Chargers fans should be pumped about where they are today, but bummed out about where it got to.
Yeah, I think definitely bummed out last night, but like there was a lot of people calling for that job at halftime of last night, and I assume they weren't kind of bummed out about that one. I think they should thank the Raiders. We were talking about it yesterday how kind of when you play your rivals and it doesn't go well, this stuff happens. Like the last 6 times the Browns have got a new head coach or fired their head coach, was after a Steelers loss. The Steelers fired their OC after a Browns loss. We talked about yesterday with like the Patriots, and when you play your rival, you don't look good against your rival, like it kind of spurs action. Last night, Chargers, Raiders, like it spurs action there, like. And it's kind of how it happens in the division and stuff.
Because it's like a measuring stick. Yeah. Like the Colts Patriots. So after the Colts lost to the Patriots last year, that was when Jim Irsay, after a long time of like not good stuff happening, moves on from Frank Reich, brings in Jeff Saturday. The alleged report from Tommy Curran is after the Colts beat the Patriots in Germany, allegedly from sources in the know at the time, is what Tommy Curran said. Correct. That was when the decision was made. We're moving on. It is like a measuring stick. Like the owner actually sees, oh, that's where we're supposed to be, that's where we're not supposed to be. Joining us now is a man who might have a little bit more information. Senior NFL insider for ESPN. He puts the J in ESPN. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Schefter.
Okay, do I really need to? I don't think I need to listen to the rest of this. We already seen like mainly the crux of this video. Yeah, the Chargers head coach got fired. GM got fired. It's a good day for Chargers fans. It was a day that was coming eventually, either at the end of the season or some time after them getting embarrassed last night. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this decision that the Chargers are making. What do you think of this Chargers team? And I will catch y'all later.